Hello, welcome to What's Wellness with Dr. Samina. My guest today is Paula Roberts. Paula Roberts is a world-renowned psychic. She's more famous as being called the English psychic, and she's been on some wonderful shows which are watched globally. She's been on CNN, Unsolved Mysteries, O'Reilly Factor, Good Morning America. I am so happy to have her here with me as a guest. How are you doing, Paula?
Delighted to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I usually start off the program by asking, what's wellness?
Wellness to me, I think, is a balance in life. I know it's not easy in these busy times to take time for oneself, but a lot of the clients that I deal with are so caught up in one aspect of their life. And quite often here in the city and the surrounding areas, not only in the city, of course, people's work is paramount in their life, taking over all aspects of their life. And to me, wellness is a balance.
Who is a usual client for you, if I may ask you, in Manhattan? You've been living here for the longest time.
That's a fabulous question, because the answer is absolutely everybody. People may imagine, if they have nothing to do with people in my field, that it's lovelorn young ladies. Of course, there's a certain amount is, but I would be hard-pressed to think of any nationality, any religion, any socio-economic group who has not been to me. It's everybody.
Over these years, let me ask you something interesting here. Have you ever had a session with somebody where you just felt that you were able to give them a life-saving experience? Let me just put it this way, that it was timely.
I suppose a lot of the advice that's given is heavyweight. Not all of it, but very heavyweight. I always think in a reading, there are two parts to, shall we say, the contract. Knowledge, advice, situations are given. How the client chooses to use that, that's their part of the contract.
So in a way, psychics, not necessarily, this question is not pointing to you per se, but just to the psychic, people who have true psychic potential. Yes. What do they give to their client when they come in, like the person? Just support, or maybe clear up a little cobwebs and tell them to start thinking about them, their lives and their obstacles?
I actually believe that all the major events in one's life are predestined, all the big things. And somebody such as myself does sometimes have that ability to see those major events. Now, as a Western person, one might think one has all this free will. I don't actually personally believe that. I believe that one can meander a little towards the specific event, but it's going to happen.
But then if it's destiny and not free will, then what is the point of our existence right now? Because things are going to happen the way they are. My working hard to achieve anything is not really going to matter.
It does matter.
That's what I'm saying. How does this, doesn't the free will influence the destiny?
Yes. Well, I did talk about the meandering. And if I didn't make my point clear, all right, a certain event is going to happen. I think the destiny, the karma, the free will is how you deal with it.
So the destiny is definitely influenced by my present right now. If I wanted to have a good future or have happiness in my life, then I will have to work hard for it and obviously try to work accordingly, right? Versus just sitting hand on hand and then my karma is not going to change, right? So all I'm saying is we are directly because of our actions able to govern things that happen in our life.
You've used the word happiness. Now, happiness, of course I understand what people mean by that. They say, when are we going to be happy? And I think, beyond the age of 5, what does happy mean? Certainly one can be content, or, don't like the word, but happy with some aspects of one's life. But life tends to be complex. So again, I think it comes back to, how do we deal with our situations? Do we accept with grace that some situations are beyond our control? We are not happy about them because perhaps they're to do with other people, but we are, if I may use the word, at peace with the situation.
What are the 3 questions, if I may ask you, which are the commonest during the readings?
People are interested in their work situations, the one-on-one personal relationship. Some people, and I don't want to put a percentage on it, are interested in what they would call their spiritual life. I would say it was a mixture between the spiritual, emotional, and the practical. And some people, though it's very, very, very few, are interested in world events outside their own life. But that is very, very few people.
And I know some people who are literally addicted to going to psychics, where they just want to go for everything that pops up in their mind. And if they don't see that person there, they are devastated. So that's
well, that is, again, I never talk about anybody else's work. I do not encourage people to come very frequently. I allow them to come whenever they particularly want to. I always say to the people, because quite often at the end of a first reading they say, well, how often should one come? And I say, I'll tell you what I tell everybody else. The day you wake up one morning with questions and me in mind, that is when. Because sometimes people ring me up and said, oh, I came to you 2 months ago, should I come back? And I say, I can't tell you. If you would like to come, feel free, but I'm not going to persuade anybody to come, because that's just not right. I did an interview a long time ago, and a couple of my clients were interviewed, and not in my presence, and they both said the same thing. It's additional information we add to all our other information. And I thought, well, that is such a good way to put it.